Okay, so for today's class, we are learning the Holy Ma'ori Nayim about Pesach. Okay, so this class is actually based on the comments of the Ma'ori Nayim Parshas Tzav, because 1 year in Chernobyl, so that Shabbos Gadol fell out on Parshas Tzav. That's why everything that he wants to say about Pesach, so he speaks about Parshas Tzav, and he actually starts with this Shabbat. This Shabbat is called Shabbat HaGadol, and he speaks about why is it called Shabbat HaGadol. Okay, so there's many commentaries given, many explanations given. That what it says clearly in Shulchan Aruch is that it's called Shabbat HaGadol, that the Shabbos before Pesach is called Shabbat HaGadol, mipnei hanes HaGadol shenasa bo. It's because of the great miracle that happened on this Shabbat. Okay, so speaking of great miracles, so we're going to dedicate this shiur for miracles for the Jewish people. B'ezrat Hashem, that we should see amazing miracles. That it was amazing last night that we saw amazing miracles. That of the how many 300, the 300 rockets that were sent, that not one fell. We were Baruch Hashem, able to avoid all of them, and we should see continued miracles. And the end of the miracles should be the Geula Shlema with Mashiach B'ezrat Hashem. So this Shabbat is called Shabbat HaGadol. It says because of the great miracle. What was the great miracle? So the great miracle was that on this Shabbat, so it says that Mishchu K'hu Lechem Tzoyin V'Shachatu HaPesach, that it says that we needed to take the lamb for the Karban Pesach. So there was a mitzvah to take it aside 4 days before Karban Pesach. So that was on Shabbat, and so we took the lamb on Shabbat and we put it by the beds, and all the Egyptians, they knew that we were taking their idolatry and we were about to kill their idols, to kill their God, and we were going to sacrifice their God for our God. And the miracle was that they were just paralyzed, that they hated us, they wanted to kill us, and they were just burning with anger, and they just were they didn't know what to do. Like they were trying to attack us, and they just weren't able to. And that was the Nes HaGadol that happened on Shabbos HaGadol. Yeah. So I once heard an interesting alternative interpretation that one of the things that happens, we're talking about in one of the classes, we're talking about the different groups within the Jewish people. So there was once upon a time there was a group in the Jewish people called the Karaites. So it says that they believed in the written Torah, they didn't believe in the oral Torah. Okay, so one of the things that they wanted to mess up the Torah was that it says that Tzvir Sa'imar is Mimacharat HaPesach. Sorry, Mimacharat HaShabbat. It says Mimacharat HaShabbat. So the Karaites, they understood that if you start Tzvir Sa'imar Mimacharat HaShabbat, so that means you have to always start Tzvir Sa'imar on Sunday, okay, or Matzah Shabbos. Okay, so the oral Torah teaches us that when it says Mimacharat HaShabbat, when it says Shabbat, it's referring to Pesach. So we know that Tzvir Sa'imar starts the night after Pesach. Okay, in Chutz La'aretz it's always by the second Seder. Okay, and the second Seder is the first night of Tzvir Sa'imar, and in Israel, so it's Motzei Yom Tov, after the first Chag. So, but the Karaites, they understood that they didn't believe in the rabbinic and the oral tradition that it means Matzah Pesach. Matzah Shabbos means after Pesach. So they always wanted Shavuos to be on would be Monday. Okay, they always made trouble. They tried to work it out that Shavuos should be. They always tried to work out the Pesach should be on Shabbos. They always wanted the Pesach should be on Shabbos, because that way they knew that we were going to do it our way, but they wanted that it should also be their way. So it says that they would hire false witnesses to make it that Shabbos, the Pesach should fall on Shabbos. Anyway, so because the Karaites claimed that Shabbos means Shabbos, and we know that when it says Shabbat, it really means Pesach, so that's why we call this Shabbat the Shabbat of Pesach. We call it Shabbat HaGadol in order to hint at the fact that there's a Shabbat Katan in the same week. But this is the week that has two Shabbats. There's Shabbat Gadol, Shabbat Katan. The Shabbat Gadol is the main Shabbos. There's what we all call Shabbos, and there's also Shabbat Katan because really Pesach is also considered Shabbos. And that's just to explain that there should be a hint to how the Torah is referring to Pesach. Anyway, but the Marinayim, Rabbi Nachman Chernobyl, so he says that really the reason why we call the Shabbos Gadol is because there's something very, very basic that we need to know about Pesach that is being brought down every year. So he starts with a midrash. It says that before by Kriyas Yamsuf, when when Hashem was splitting the sea, we were trying to escape Egypt. So it says that there was a certain kitrug, there was a certain accusation against the Jewish people, that one of the angels said that why are you trying to save the Jewish people? Halalu of the Avodah Zarah, v'halalu of the Avodah Zarah. What's the difference between the two? That the Egyptians worship idols, the Jews worship idols, that they're the same. Why do the Jews deserve to be saved? So he wants to understand what does this mean? What does this mean that the Jews were worshiping idols? Okay, so he has an ayin tova. He looks at the Jews with positive light. It's beyond his comprehension. It can't be that the Jews in Egypt are worshiping idols. Now the truth is that it could be what he means is that we've already been seeing Hashem's miracles for a long time already. That we've already been seeing that the 10 plagues, it says in Chazal, took approximately a year. That already from the beginning of the first plague until Yetzias Mitzrayim, until Pesach, was approximately a year. So we've already been seeing God's miracles in the world. We've already been seeing that. That there is a creator, that these pagan gods is not where it's at. So we've already been seeing that for quite a while. So if it doesn't really make sense that this whole year they were still worshiping idols, so how could it be? So he says that when it says that we're Avdei Avodah Zarah, it doesn't really mean we're Avdei Avodah Zarah. It means that our understanding of life is not where it should be. Okay, it's something what he calls that katnut hadat, that our da'at, understanding of life, da'at, so it was in exile. Okay? Last week we talked about how, according to the Arizal, so when we were in Egypt, so communication was in exile. And the Baal Shem Tov teaches that it wasn't just our communication, it was our da'at which was in exile. And that's why one of the things about matzah is to give us da'at, to give us understanding. Give us understanding about life.
How could communication be in exile? Like with Hashem?
I mean, no, the fact that we were speechless. We just didn't know how to express ourselves. Okay? So what does it mean that the da'at was in exile? That our understanding of life was just not where it should be. Our understanding of life was just being paralyzed. It was like being attacked, and like the part of our brain which is about understanding just was being attacked, and it wasn't able, beaten up. It wasn't able to be itself. It wasn't able to understand properly, and it was just really not the way it should be. That's what it means that the da'at was in galut. That's why it says that matzah, one of the things about matzah, is to give us da'at. Okay, we spoke about. I don't remember when exactly. That it says in the Gemara. That chita is one of the prerequisites to having that. It says that a baby doesn't know how to say Abba until he eats wheat. Okay? The baby won't be able to speak properly, won't be able to understand who is his father until he eats wheat. Okay? That's the Gemara. It's a very mystical passage in the Gemara, but the commentaries explain that it's coming to hint to the fact that until you eat wheat, until you eat matzah, so you can't really say Abba, you can't really understand who is our Father in heaven. And part of the da'at of understanding where we come from, it's necessary to have wheat. And this connects with what we spoke about last week, that the tree of knowledge, the Eitz Hada'at, So it was actually a wheat tree. Okay? It's actually a wheat tree, and that's why we spoke about last week how the whole sin of the tree of knowledge actually happened on Rosh Chodesh Nisan. Happened this past Tuesday, and that's why that right after Nisan, right after the sin of the Etzadat, that's when we have the mitzvah of matzah, and the purpose of the mitzvah of matzah is to rectify the sin of the Etzadat. Okay, so one of the themes of matzah, one of the things of Pesach is to give us back our dat. That when we're eating the matzah, then we're eating the matzah. It's a week from tomorrow night. Okay, insane, right? That a week from tomorrow night, when we're sitting and we're eating our matzah, so one of the intentions is, what should we be thinking? We're leaning back. We're leaning on our left side, and we're munching on our matzah, on our hand matzah. That we're munching and we're thinking that Hashem, please help me understand life. Please, that my mind is just everything. Everything is off. I understand everything wrong. That please help me give a right understanding of life. Please help just fix my dat. Just heal my dat. Please, that my dat is so off. I would love to understand the world the way that you want me to. And this is what the matzah is supposed to give us. Okay? So the purpose, the problem was, when we were in Egypt, we had what's called, it was galut hadat, that our dat was in exile, that our understanding of life was messed over, and it's called katnut. It's called katnut. Okay, that we know that there's difference in halacha. There's difference in Judaism between a minor and an adult. Right? When a person becomes bar bat mitzvah, so only then they become liable. Only they become responsible. Right? They're not considered on a level that they could understand what it means that my actions have consequences. They're considered that they're not on the level that they can understand that I have responsibilities in life. They're not on the level that they can understand that there's things it's possible to mess up my life. And so a minor, we call that a katan. Okay? An adult, we call that a gadol. Okay? So what's the difference? What's the difference between a minor and an adult? The difference is his dat. Okay? The difference when a person matures, so what really matures is his dat matures. Okay? So a child doesn't have the maturity to understand life. Okay, so a kid has an immature take on life, and that's called that he's a katan. Okay? So becoming a gadol means that we have a mature take on life. Okay, so what does it mean? What does it mean to have katnus hadas? What does it mean to katnus hadas? So the word katan. So I once heard from the Maharal. The Maharal says that if you look at the letters of Katan, so it's kuf and tet, kuf and tet. If you look at the words that start with the words that have kuf and tet in them, so it's about right. Oh my gosh! Oh, don't listen. Don't listen.
Oh no.
You're probably kuf tough, right?
No.
Okay. Yeah. Kuf,
Are you changing my name right now?
No, I'm just judging you favorably. I'm just that because kuftet has all of the kuftet. Okay, maybe we can find some Chassidut turnover for this.
I've heard some good.
Okay, so the kuftet, all of the word. Let's think about what words start with kuftet. So katal means to kill. Kata means to cut off. What else?
Kid mute.
Nice, I like that. Okay, so
Oh wait, no. What did you? Never mind.
So usually when we talk about something katua means what?
Right.
No, that's with a chaf. That's with a chaf and a taf. That's neither kuf and tet. Okay, so kuf.
Oh wait, no.
No, that's also a kaf and a taf. Okay, so so kuf and tet always means cut off. Okay, so a katan. No. So that's a good point. But but usually when we talk about kuftet, we're talking about something which is cut off. Okay, and that's why katua, something which is a katan. So a person with an immature look at life, so they look at the world as being cut up. Do you see? They're very myopic. They very much see the here and now, and they don't see the big picture. Okay, so that's the essence of a katan is that he only sees the very cut off piece of life. Okay, whereas gadol, so gadol is gimel daled. Okay, gimel daled. So what is the word gimel daled? They appear in words like aguda. Aguda means a organization. It's a Gedi. I don't know. Gedi is a goat. I'm not sure why or how that's connected, but no, you're absolutely right that a goat has to be somehow connected. I don't know why. In what else do we have in?
What are the letters?
Gimel Daled.
Haggadah.
Good lahagid. Okay, that's the talk. And so there's more. Aguda. Egid means just a bundle, right? What? Very good. A gudud is a battalion. Is a battalion of troops in the army, killing the Albanians, and what? Okay, the tribe. The tribe of God is connected to a gadut. It says God gadut iguden, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So Gimel Dalet is about taking small pieces and bringing them together. Okay, so that's the gadol. A gadol is a person who's able to see the whole picture. Okay, he doesn't just see the here and now; he sees the whole thing. Okay, so that's when you become a gadol. That means that you're able to take a step back and see the whole picture. So that's why that Shabbat is about the having a gadol take at life. It says that it says in Mizmor Shel Yom HaShabbat. I forgot what it says. It says the word that the gadol is connected to Shabbat. Remember where it says in Mizmor Shel Yom HaShabbat? It says Ma Gadlu. It says Ma Gadlu Masach Hashem. That's it. It says Ma Gadlu Masach Hashem. That on Shabbat, so a person comes that with the understanding that Hashem, your creation is so big. And what does it mean so big? So it's about that seeing how everything fits together. Whereas there is one of the Tehillim is about the days of the week, and that's Bachi Nafshi. Bachi Nafshi is Yetzer Hadam la'avodato, Yetzer Hadam lefa'alo v'la'avodato ad ha'arav. This is a psalm about working, about the weekday, and in the psalm about the weekday it says Ma Rabu Masach Hashem. And that's why there's a very interesting thing that in the bracha of Yetzer, so on the weekday we say Ma Rabu Masach Hashem. Right? It says in the Ma Rabu Masach Hashem. During the week we say Ma Rabu Masach Hashem, and on Shabbat we switch it to Ma Gadlu Masach Hashem. Okay, and we switch that during the weekday. So we have a perspective of Rabu. Rabu means to have a lot. Okay, to have a lot means that everything is disconnected, and on Shabbat we have a perspective of Ma Gadlu Masach Hashem, that we see the big picture. Okay, so meaning that having a da'at of gadlut means that we see where everything belongs. Okay, we see how everything fits together, and that is the da'at of gadlut. That is having a mature gadlut, having a mature da'at, and that's what we weren't able to have in exile. Okay, one of the things that we were messed up by, one of the things that we were missing during these 210 years of exile was that our entire perspective of life was just very myopic, very just here and now. And this is what it means to be a slave, is that I can't think about tomorrow. I'm very just out of breath. And I heard a very beautiful thing that there's a problem. There's a problem in the world that people don't have time. People, they're just too busy for anything. They're stuck in this rat race of life, and they're just so busy. They're just so busy that they don't have time to come to a class on Sunday nights. They don't have time to speak to their friends. They don't have time to speak to their spouse. They don't have time to speak to their kids. They don't have time for anything meaningful. Why? Because they're just so busy. Okay, what are they so busy with? They're just busy. They're just they're working, or they're just doing what they need to do. And when they're not doing what they need to do, then they have downtime, and that's another 2 hours on Facebook and whatever you guys do these days. And I know there's what? LinkedIn. Yes, thank you. LinkedIn. So the missing link. So the understanding that not having time is it's something that comes from Paro. That Paro said about the Jewish people, Tichbad ha'avoda ala'am, that va'al yishu b'divrei shakar. That when they came to complain that that we don't have enough time, that it's too hard for us. So he said, oh, if they're complaining, that means they're thinking. So if they're thinking, that means that they have extra time. So if they have extra time, that means we have to give them more work. We'll give them more work that they won't have time to think. They won't have time to think. They won't be able to complain. Then the more we to switch from complaining to complacent. Okay, that you're just to be too busy to be able to think, and then I don't have time to think. I don't have time to cry. I don't have time to feel bad. I don't have time to evaluate my situation. So this is the advice of Paro, that to make us have so much work that we're so busy that we don't have time to take a step back. So I heard this amazing idea from the Sfat Emet. It says that the beginning of the Galut, so Chazal look at the beginning of the Galut as Parshat Vayechi. What happened in Parshat Vayechi? So Yosef was in Egypt. His brother sold him to slavery. He eventually ended up in Egypt, and then he got his family to come to Egypt. Okay, why? Because there was a famine. There was a famine in Eretz Yisrael. So the only place that there wasn't a famine was in Egypt. So he convinced his whole family to come to Egypt. That they should have lots of sustenance. They should have lots of food. So really, when did we come to Egypt? When Yaakov came to visit Yosef. When he brought his entire family, the whole 70 people. So when they came to Yosef, that was really the coming down to Egypt. That was the beginning of our exile. That was the beginning of our being in the exile of Egypt. So it says, when the Torah writes Parshas Vayechi, so there's a very unique thing. It's the only parsha in the entire Chumash that doesn't have its own paragraph. Okay, meaning that the way that you write a Sefer Torah is that every parsha gets a new paragraph. Okay, it deserves it. It's the beginning of a new story, right? Every parsha is a new story. So the beginning of a new story, you deserve a new paragraph, right? There's one exception, and that's Parshas Vayechi. Parshas Vayechi, even though it's a new parsha, but it's in the middle of a paragraph. Yeah, that's why it's hard. If you're the one reading the Torah, so you have to find exactly where it is. It's hard to find. Okay, so Rashi says, Chazal say, why is there no new paragraph? So it says Parsha zu stuma. Parsha zu stuma. It's a closed up parsha. Mipnei shenistimu libam veineim shayisrael mikosh galut. That because they were going into exile, because this going into Egypt represented the beginning of the exile, so their eyes and their heart were closed off. Because of this beginning of the exile. So that's why that this is expressed in the way that the Torah is written, that it's closed off, that there's no space. Okay, there's no space. It's closed off. Okay, so now, what's the very end? What's the very end of the Geula? What's the end of Yetzias Mitzrayim? When we cross the Red Sea, that's the end. That was the final the final getting away from there, finally escaping the Egyptians, that's when we were finally redeemed. So what is, if you look in the Sefer Torah, I believe in the article Siddur, they also write it like this. The way that the Torah writes as Yashir, the way that we write the song that we sang after the splitting of the sea, is, it's also very unique. The one place in the entire Torah that this is like this, that is that almost every word gets its own paragraph. They have like one or two words and a space, one or two words and a space. It's the most spaced out parsha, the most spaced out paragraph in the entire Chumash is As Yashir. Okay, so the Sasam is right that this is coming to tell you that the beginning of the galut, that the exile, how is it expressed in the Torah? By having no space. And how is the redemption, how is the geula expressed in the Torah? By having lots of space. Okay, and so what does it mean? That means, what does it mean to be a slave? To be a slave means that you're always cramped. You're always, that you have no space. You have no time. That you're always being pushed around. You're always being like they stuffed into something. And to be redeemed means that I have space. Okay, and this is really that, like, this is the power was saying Tichbat Avodah, that to be a slave means that I'm on this treadmill. I'm on this rat race, that I'm just being pushed. I'm being like chased, and I have no time to stop. I have no peace of mind, and I feel like I'm constantly just being pushed and cramped. And to be free means that I can take a step back, take a deep breath, and say, "Wow, like, let's think about what I just did. Let's think about my life." Just to be able to stop and take a deep breath. Okay, that is geula. Okay, that is geula. So this is so when we're talking about katnus hadas. Katnus hadas. Katnus is that das being katur. My evaluation, my ability to look at life as being cut off means that I can't, like, don't tell me about, don't ask me what I'm doing next year. I have no idea what I'm doing in 5 minutes. Okay, that's galus. Okay, that's galus. And not just like, like in AA they say 1 day at a time. So my students have edited that to 5 minutes at a time. That like I have no idea. I have no idea what's going to be. So it's the problem of like some. There was once a rabbi that said, I apologize, but I need complete silence when I speak, because I promise you I have no clue what I'm going to say 5 seconds from now. So that to be able to only be able to think of 1 second at a time, that is true galut. That is true exile. Okay? And that's exactly what your Yetzer Hara wants you to think, because the truth is that when that the Yetzer Hara is okay when you're living for the here and now, so that he's happy. Okay, that that Hashem, he wants us to to not always be thinking about the here and now. To think about what's going to be in 20 years from now. To what's going to be after we die. What's going to be after we die. How can I? Like the mature way to live life is to think about the end. To think about the end. That's why Shabbat is about thinking about the end. Shabbat is to take a step back and think, that the whole week I'm running on this crazy rat race, but let's take a moment to think, where am I running? Where am I running? That's gadlus. That's ma gadlu ma'asach Hashem. I have a friend lives here, Dov Berkon, teaches Nation.
He was here.
So he lives in Nachlat, yeah. So he told me once that was sometimes like his students. So they like he's trying to convince them to come to yeshiva, and they tell him, Rabbi, I can't afford to take a year off from yeshiva because I'm going to fall behind. All my friends, they all went to the same school as me, they all went to the same grad school as me, and they're advancing in their careers, and they're going to go forward, and I'm going to fall behind. So I'm sorry, apologize. I don't have 6 months. I don't have a year because I'm going to fall behind. So he tells them that when you're going in the wrong direction, it's actually good to fall behind. So like when a person is in this rat race, so that's galut. That's parshas tuma. That's like that when I can only think about the here and now. That I need to go like just one like right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot. That's when I'm in this death march. That the only thing I can think about is that the one step ahead of me. So then that is galut. Okay, when I take a step back and think like, whoa. What do I like to do with my life? Am I actually going the right way? Am I making decisions that are actually going to bring me to the place that I would like to be 20 years from now, 50 years from now, 100 years from now? So that that's geula. Okay, that's gadlut, and that's to bring the da'at back. Okay, that's gadlut hadat. So, and this is the most important. This is the having a perspective in life. Having a perspective in life. This is the most important thing that a person could possibly have. That the Gemara Nedarim says about that. This is by the way, this is in the Shemona Esrei when we daven, the very first request that we have is for dat. Okay, it's the most basic request we have is Hashem, please give me understanding of life. Please help me that my decisions shouldn't be this survival mode. There shouldn't be this instinct mode that I'm just doing just whatever meets my fancy at this very moment. That please help me that my decisions I make in my life should be from a place of dat. I think I told you once that there's a Israeli Kabbalist named Rabbi Ashrov. So he said once that that he's Israeli. So with accent it works better. So he says how come everything on every website in the entire internet. So it all ends with .com. So he says because everything you're looking for on the internet, really deep down, what's your true request? .com. So the really idealist desire in life is .com. So and this to have that this is to be in a state of geula. So this is what the matzah is trying to give us. The matzah is trying to give us that. It says that ein tinak kare la'aba ad she'tayim tam chita. That this is the purpose of the matzah. The purpose of the matzah is to give us das. Okay, it's the tikkun of the etadas that I'm not sure if I told any of you this, but this is one of the ideas of yachatz. One of the ideas of yachatz is that the matzah, because the matzah is to give us new perspectives on life. It's to give us that. So that's why we have three matzahs. We have three matzahs is symbolizing Chachma Bina Dat, the three parts of the brain, and then yachatz we take the middle one, which is the dat, and break it into two. Because really dat is a double sphere. It has two parts. Because dat is about balancing life. It's about perspective. So you can't have perspective unless you have two sides of life. So that's why we break the dat, we break the middle matzah into two, and that is the way the matzah with which we're performing the mitzvah. We're eating the matzah of dat. We're eating this for the mitzvah of matzah. Okay, so. So we have the three matzahs corresponding to the three parts of the brain, Chochmah Bina Dat, and even though it's a segregation here, so apartheid, so the what? Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So the three matzahs are corresponding to the three parts of the brain in Kabbalah, Chochmah Bina Dat. But says the dat is a double sphere. The dat, because dat is about having perspective, so it actually has part of dat is connected to chesed and part of dat is connected to gevura. That's why that by dividing it, we're showing that the truest expression of dat is to have two matzahs. So that's why we're to break it into two. That's why we're taking the
How does it have to do with like one piece being bigger than the other when you break it into?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure why. I mean, I believe that we want to take the smaller one because the first matzah is the mitzvah of matzah. Part of the mitzvah of matzah is to be a poor man's bread. So if we take the smaller matzah, and the second one is the afikomen. The afikomen is corresponding to the Karban Pesach. Corresponding is the bigger matzah. Yeah, so maybe it has to do with that.
Where does it say that like that is divided with Chassidut and Geburah?
Maybe. Like in Kabbalah, it's like they take it for granted.
Is it Tanya or Zohar?
In Zohar already. Yeah. Okay, so this is what the matzah is all about. Matzah is all about that. And so when it says that they're Avdei Avodah Zarah, so the Rav Nachman Chernobyl says that when it says they're Avdei Avodah Zarah, it doesn't mean that they were actually worshiping idols. It means that their dat was in galut. It means that they were in this perspective, they were in this mentality, this slavery mentality that the only thing I can think about is 5 minutes from now. I can't think about life. I can't think about where I would like to be in 20 years. I just want to do what's good for me right now, and I'm not capable. I'm not capable of thinking more than that. Okay, and that is true exile. And so, the geula of the Pesach was giving us gadlut. It's giving us gadlut, and he says that this is why this Shabbat we call it Shabbat Hagadol. That the Shabbat coming to Pesach, we call it Shabbat Hagadol to remind us that the main thing that we want to get out of Pesach is gadlut, is to become big. What do I mean big? To mean to have the perspective of maturity, to have the perspective that I want to be able to think about my entire life, that I want to get out of the matzah, that I should be able to really understand they say about what you see from here, what you see from there, what you see from here, you can't see from there. I'm not sure. Some prime minister said this, that Masha ro'im mikan lo ro'im misham. Like sometimes people have critique on the decisions that a prime minister makes, and there's so much that we don't know. There's so much that civilians have no idea the different considerations that he has, because it's all confidential. We're never going to know all of these considerations. So like when you have this higher perspective, then you understand why things make sense. And so this gadlut is what we're asking Hashem, please give us a perspective of life, of gadlut, a perspective of life, of really seeing things from the top, seeing things from the people that like to see what it's like to look at life, to understand everything already, and to see how everything else fits into this big puzzle, and then we'll be able to make right decisions. Then we won't be stuck in the here and now, because that's really all the mistakes we make. It's all because that we don't have proper perspective. It's all because that we're just like caught up in the here and now, and we aren't able to. If it would really be clear to us what's going to bring us to a better place, so then it would be easy to make decisions. And that's the gadlut, and that's what Shabbos Gadlut is reminding us. Yeah.
How do you reach this perspective during the year, not Pesach? Or is it only Pesach that can bring you there?
Matzah is the beginning of the year. Pesach is the beginning of the year. This is going to be your Das birthday.
So let's say, okay, so you eat the matzah and then you have this that, and you understand like the perspective in life, and you're not so stressed and everything else. So does that carry you out throughout the rest of the year?
Amen.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have another question for you. Is that why like the seder is like in a seder? Because like we're in a rat race. Is it like supposed to like set us back into like a healthy?
Interesting.
Seder?
I like that.
Oh, okay.
I like that. Yeah. Yeah. Although sometimes in my seder, when we're up to washing our hands, and we look at the clock and we have 11 minutes until midnight, and then we need to wash and do matzah and do maror and do karach in 11 minutes. So then, so I do feel sometimes that we're in a rat race, but B'ezrat Hashem, we'll pace ourselves. Seder, everything will be the seder this year. B'ezrat Hashem. Okay. Okay. So this is the first idea. The first idea of Pesach is Shabbos HaGadol, is reminding us that Pesach is all about bringing us gadlut hadat, to enter this small-mindedness and to become big-mindedness. B'ezrat Hashem. Okay. Okay, so the second thing that Reb Nachman Shlomo talks about when he talks about Pesach is that it says in the Zohar that Pesach is corresponding to the Sphira of Chesed. Okay, now what does this mean? That we have the Shalosh Regalim. We have the three holidays in the year: Pesach, Shavuot, and Sukkot. Okay, so it says in the Zohar that these three holidays are corresponding to the Sphirot of Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferet. Okay, Chesed is Pesach because it was a Chesed that Hashem took us out of Egypt. Okay, we didn't, like we said before, we didn't deserve it. We didn't have the mitzvahs. We didn't have the merits, and it was a Chesed. It was a kindness that Hashem took us out of Egypt. Shavuot is Gevurah. Okay, Shavuot is a Gevurah. Gevurah means confinement. Okay, Gevurah is about constriction, and that all of what happened when we got the Torah? That the Torah is considered like the marriage. Okay, what happens when you get married? When you get married, you're committing.
You're constricted.
You're constricted. Yeah, you're constricted. That until you're married, so you're just boyfriend girlfriend. There's nothing. You're not considered if you want to have other girlfriends, other boyfriends, then become a dishwasher. No, that's not what I mean. No. I mean this is your commitment to each other. Like until you get married, you're a freelancer. Like you want to break up, you can break up. You don't want to break up, you don't want to. I'm here because I want to be here. I'm not committed. Okay, when you're boyfriend girlfriend, there's no commitment to stay in this relationship. Okay, when you get married, what are you doing? I'm committing. That means I'm staying here. That from now on, I'm never going to be with anybody else. From now on, I'm going to be committed to this relationship. It's a confinement. It's a constriction. Okay? It's a beautiful constriction. It's a beautiful confinement. That's Gevurah. Okay, so that when we got the Torah, so Hashem was committing to us, and we were committing to Him. And this is the mitzvot. That results itself in our obligations, and that's about Shavuot. Shavuot is connected to Gevurah, and Sukkot is about Tiferet. Tiferet means glory, and so Sukkot is remembering the clouds of glory that we had in the desert, and that the amazing connection that we had through that. That's Tiferet. So Pesach is about Chesed. Pesach is about Chesed. That's why the first week of Sfiras Emer, which is the week of Pesach, is the week of Chesed. This is why I once heard a very beautiful idea. There's a special mitzvah of tzedakah before Pesach. Okay, it's a very, very ancient custom. Special mitzvah to give large amounts of tzedakah before Pesach. It's called Mos Chidim. Okay, what? Okay, so it's a special mitzvah to give tzedakah before Pesach. I mean, there's lots of people need. You need a lot of money. You need like the things are. Like there's a lot of expenses in Pesach. There's everything kosher Pesach. Like there's talk about pink tax. They have like kosher Pesach tax. They're like everything's more expensive. Just because it's crazy. So there's a lot of expenses. So the special mitzvah of Ma'as Chitim. So. It says that when Hashem took us out of Egypt, so Hashem was expressing Chesed, because we didn't deserve it, so it was just an act of Chesed, and that's why it says in the Mishnah in Rosh Hashanah that Pesach nidonim al hatvua. How much produce is going to be in the year? How much produce is decided on Pesach, because produce is that how much we're going to have to eat. How much we're going to have to eat is decided on. This is the Hashem giving us to eat, giving us our sustenance. This is on what you call it. This is on Pesach. There's interesting. This Shabbos. So some Chassidim have a custom that there's these 3 stories. The Maggid Mikoshnitz had this tradition that he would tell his Chassidim to tell these 3 stories on Shabbos HaGadol, and you'll have the Shabbos HaGadol. So he had this custom that that he told his Chassidim every Shabbos Gadol that he told his Chassidim, tell the following 3 stories, and you will have lots of parnasa for the whole year. Okay, one of the stories, I'll just give you an example. It's a story about Rabbi Elimelech and Dezhensk. It's not just exciting stories, but he said you should tell over these stories, and you have big parnasa. So there was one story that there was a chassid of Rabbi Elimelech and Dezhensk, and his parnasa was with selling alcohol. And the problem was that so one day he had a very amazing, he saw an amazing kind of whiskey or something, and he put all of his money into this fancy whiskey, and then he got caught by the border, and they were going to claim all of his whiskey. What's it called when they confiscate? Thank you. They confiscate all of his whiskey, and all of his money was going to go in the trash. He was going to be a pauper, and so he ran to the Rebbe. They went to the Rebbe. The Rebbe told him that no problem, just tell them to taste it. Tell them to taste it, and they tell them I made a mistake. It's really not whiskey. It's really water. So take it, taste it, and you'll see it's water. So he was a good chassid, and he knew it was the most expensive whiskey that existed in Europe. But he was a good chassid, and the Rebbe said, tell them it's water. So he tasted it, and so it was water. And then he came. So they said, okay, sorry, okay, fine, you can go, you can cross the border. And so he took it home. They went to the Rebbe, but now if you turned it into water, so now then I'm still a pauper. Now I put my entire savings into this whiskey, and now it just turns into water. So he says, no, taste it again. Taste again, and you'll see that it turned back, and taste again, and it turns into the most amazing whiskey.
Is this a true story?
Of course, it's a true story. No, this is absolutely a true story.
From who?
And from Evelyn Dezhensk.
When?
And what?
When?
300 years ago.
Where?
300. In Dezhensk.
Why?
In Poland, in Dezhensk.
Oh.
In Dezhensk. How? Because Melech was able to do miracles.
Did he do it for other drinks?
This is the story. He did it for his Chassidim. When his Chassidim were in need, so he was able to help his Chassidim. So he was able to get it back, and he sold all the whiskey, and he had lots of parnasa for Pesach, all the 3 stories. Like the last line of the story is, and we had lots and lots of parnasa for Pesach. And that's so to tell over these 3 stories. This is Skula from the Kosher Rebbe, Kosher Magid, and so part of the Pesach theme, part of the narrative of Pesach is parnasa, and that's why part of the special mitzvah of Pesach is chesed, is giving the special mitzvah of tzedakah, that everybody should come into Pesach with lots and lots of money, okay, and lots of parnasa. That it's really true. Like sometimes they have these tzedakah organizations that it's a very beautiful thing that they give poor people. They give them these huge boxes of with 10 kilo of potatoes and 10 kilo of apples and 10 kilo of oranges and all the matzah they can imagine, they really go into Pesach feeling good. They really this is the chesed of my schitim is an amazing thing. So this is a special theme of Pesach is chesed. Okay, so what?
Why parnasa?
Parnasa is chesed.
Why parnasa? Are you gonna explain?
Why parnasa?
On Pesach.
Is it because money's bread?
Pesach is corresponding to the sphere of chesed, to the energy of chesed, because chesed means sharing, meaning giving and not stopping to give. Okay, so Pesach represents chesed because Hashem did this amazing chesed to us to save us, and chesed is to give somebody who doesn't deserve. Okay, chesed is to give somebody who doesn't deserve, and because we didn't deserve to be saved, and even though we didn't deserve to be saved, Hashem saved us. That's why he stamped the holiday of Pesach as the holiday of Chesed. Okay.
What do you mean by someone that doesn't deserve?
Like when you buy something in a store and you pay him, he deserves the money.
Oh,
right? To give somebody just because you want to have to. Like, I'm not giving you this because I'm supposed to give you. I'm giving this because I want to give you. Okay, that's chesed. Okay, so this is the chesed of Pesach is that even though we're in the 49th level of Tamah, we didn't deserve it. So Hashem gave us this chesed, and that's why from then, so chesed, Pesach became the holiday of chesed, of just giving bounty, giving shefa, giving money, giving food. Everybody should share with everybody. Everybody should make sure that everybody around them is just full of bracha. Okay, so now the thing is that this is really the essence of the word Pesach, because Pesach literally, what does the word Pesach literally mean? It means to skip. Pesach means to skip over. Yes, what? So it doesn't really mean Passover. It would be avar. It says Hashem was over b'chol Mitzrayim, v'avarti b'eretz Mitzrayim b'layla hazeh. When Hashem talks about the plague of the firstborns, so it says v'avarti b'eretz Mitzrayim. Hashem passed through the land of Egypt and he killed all of the firstborns. But when he came to the Jewish homes, he didn't avar. He was pasach upasachti alechem. I skipped over. Okay, so Pesach doesn't really mean Passover. It means to skip over. Okay. Sorry for all of you. You have to edit all of your Maxwell House Haggadahs. This is not the. It's a black out the Passover Haggadah. It's really the skip over Haggadah. And yeah, a new hashtag. Pesach. What?
I thought Pesach meant like.
It also means that. We spoke about that last week. Okay, that's very good. But as long as it doesn't mean Passover. Okay. It doesn't mean we're not passing over. We're skipping over. Why? So why are we skipping over? So it says like this: that really on the night of Pesach, we were really on the 49th level of Tamah. We didn't deserve to be saved, and even though we didn't deserve to be saved, Hashem skipped us over. Okay, it was about skipping. It was about that Hashem took us, and wherever we were in our low spiritual levels, and Hashem says, that who says things have to make sense? Maybe I can take you where you are and just spring into the top. Okay, that's Pesach. That's skipping over. Okay, and this is why at the beginning of the Seder we do something very interesting. We say Kadesh Orchatz. Kadesh Orchatz. What does it mean, Kadesh? Sanctify yourself. What does it mean, Orchatz? It means to cleanse yourself. Okay, so in Chassidus it says that this is the opposite order. Usually, the Pesach says in Tehillim, Sor Merah v'aseh tov. First, stop doing bad stuff, and then do good stuff. Okay, meaning that if you want to do your friend a favor, if you want to perform, if you want to do something very romantic, okay, so we say like maybe I'm sorry, but you stink. First take a shower. First take a shower, and then first take a shower, and then after you take a shower, then you're all nice and clean. Then you can perform. Then you can do something romantic. Then you can, right? Then.
I'm so confused.
So usually that the normal order of things is that you can also refill the water and that Sophie is an expert. That the normal order of things is that if I'm all messed up, if I'm filthy, okay, so first we should say, first I should rinse myself, first I should do tshuva, first I should stop being so disgusting, and after I'm stopping to be so disgusting, then I'll be holy.
Are you supposed to come to this realization yourself, or is someone supposed to tell you?
So normally the order of events is that if you stink, so stay out of the Beis Hamikdash. Okay, the Hashem first wash yourself off, and then be very holy. Okay, and so by the Pesach, so Hashem allows us to skip. Hashem allows us to skip. What does it mean to skip?
Skip the shower.
It means skip the shower. Okay, it's Hashem tells us that that first just make yourself so holy. So first that I want you to go to the I don't just exactly come as you are. Just like I don't, no questions asked, and I'm gonna make you the holiest person around. I'm gonna give you this high levels of spirituality that you have no idea. And afterwards you work it out. Afterwards you'll take off all your stains and you'll stop being so gross, and it's okay. and so this is the Kaddish Orchatz. That this is special. This is the exception. The exception that you don't have
What's
to
Kaddish Orchatz in English?
sanctify yourself and then cleanse yourself. Okay, this is the one exception that usually you need to ascend this ladder of spirituality step by step, and it's a whole process. And you have to sometimes you're not ready. Sometimes this is I'm sorry, but this spiritual level is just you're not ready for it yet. You need to have patience. Pesach is the day that we don't have patience. Patience is the day that Hashem says that I don't care. I know that you just found out that you're Jewish 6 hours ago, but I'm going to make you the chief rabbi of Israel. Okay? That's Pesach. That's Kaddish Orchatz. And not just that you're not just going to tell yourself this. You can feel these spiritual connections as if you're the holiest guy around. Okay? We're actually able to skip. So this is the chesed. This is the chesed of the month of chesed of the holiday of Pesach, is that Hashem is able to skip us these levels and elevate us. So now he says a very fascinating thing, that it says in the Gemara that Yitzchak Avinu nolad Pesach. That Yitzchak was born on Pesach. Now, what does this mean? So Yitzchak, he represents judgment. He represents Gevurah. Okay, so Gevurah, this represents all of the hard times in life. Okay, when things are a little bit crazy, when things are a little bit struggles, when things are not the way we would like them to be. So. Okay, when we're in the middle of a big war with people who have nuclear weapons. Okay, this is Gevurah. Okay, so it says that. So
it's
it says
literally awesome because Hashem's taking care of us.
Hashem is totally taking care of us. So it says that Pesach Nolad Yitzchak means that all of these Gevurah parts of our life, they all stem from Chesed. That there cannot be a difficult part in life that doesn't stem from a chesed, that doesn't stem from a desire for us to give us more, to give us a lot, to give us bounty, to give us shefa, to give us bracha, and that the understanding that Yitzchak was born on Pesach is the understanding that every hardship that we could ever find, that we're ever going to have to go through, so to have this very clear understanding, this das, that the only reason why we're going through this hardship is because Hashem wants to give us something amazing, and this is the only way that we're going to get there. Okay, and this is the understanding that the matzah is going to give us. That after the matzah, I think I shared with some of you, that after the matzah we understand that the maror is what brought us to the matzah. Okay, that in the order. So first we eat matzah, and then we eat maror. So everybody else, that maror represents the bondage. I mean the slavery. That matzah represents the redemption. So first we should eat the maror, and then we should eat the matzah. So why do we first eat the matzah and then eat the maror? So the answer is that the reason when we're eating the maror, the purpose of eating the maror is it's not to have a sab story. The purpose of eating the maror is not that let's be sad for old time's sake. That there is no such thing. There's no reason to be sad. right? The reason why we're eating the maror is because after we get the redemption, after we have the perspective of being out of here, then we recognize that, we actually wouldn't have made it, we wouldn't have become who we are without the maror, without the hardships. Okay? And this is the rule of life. Any hardship that we're ever going through, it's all for the purpose of the matzah. Okay? It's just, we only realize it when we get the matzah. Okay? So the das that we're trying to get is that everything is chesed, even the hardships in life, it's all chesed, it's all trying, Hashem is just pushing us forward to get to a better place. And this is really the secret of life. It's the secret of dealing with all these hardships, is the understanding that there is no such thing which is not coming down because Hashem loves us. Everything is a hug. Everything is, sometimes it's clear, sometimes it's just a preparation for the next step, but everything, the good and the bad, it's all because Hashem loves us, it's all because Hashem wants us to become the best version of ourselves possible. And this is what we're remembering, and the chesed of Pesach. So I bless us all that we should mamish be able to really feel Hashem's opened chesed, opened kindness, open blessings, open shefa, and we should be full of lots and lots of parnasa, lots and lots of tzedakah, lots of just every kind of bracha. Every kind of bracha should just be showering down this bracha, this yantiv, and we should really be able to really appreciate life, to have a freedom perspective, to be able to really take a deep breath and really understand the big picture, and that really everything is a blessing. B'ezrat Hashem. L'chaim.